Right, hello. So this is the first episode of the Reviewing Floor.
Where bad comics burn. Wait, wrong thing.
You're going to get us sued already.
Yeah. Hey!
All apologies to Lewis Loafhog.
Don't sue us.
And
we have no money.
And Brad Jones for me kind of looking like him. Anyway, back on properly. Anyway, Drive, starring Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts on the film?
I enjoyed it actually. It was nice to see a film where nothing exploded.
Yes, there are no explosions in this film.
No. So if you see, well, you've probably seen it by now because we kind of got around to reviewing this a bit late. So.
One thing I will say though is these reviews they're going to contain spoilers.
Yeah, we should probably put that in a thing.
Yes, they are going to contain spoilers. So what I will say is, if you haven't seen Drive, basically it's incredibly directed, very well acted, amazing soundtrack. It looks great, it sounds great from start to finish. It's a very gripping, very enjoyable film. So if you haven't seen it already, go and watch it, and then come back here and hear us, witter about it using swearing and a cameo from a bottle of Jim Beam, which is always a nice thing to have on hand if you're going to talk about films. Anyway, Ryan Gosling then.
Yes, Ryan Gosling.
Same month Drive came out, Ryan Gosling was in a film called Crazy Stupid Love, where he was this sort of cocky Lothario type, telling Steve Carell how to pick at women. And then, and I went to see Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And they did a trailer for both films, for Crazy Stupid Love and Drive.
Because there's quite a wide overlap between people who like period spy thrillers and Steve Carell.
But you see the trailer for Crazy Stupid Love, and you're like, oh, Ryan Gosling. I hadn't actually heard of him up to this point. It's like Ryan Gosling, he's going to be some sort of, he's in this romantic comedy. Then you see the trailer, and I was like, fuck, he's got a hammer now.
Yeah.
It's like, Lothario, hammer.
What's worse is if you blink halfway through that and you don't realise they've changed trailers. You think, this movie has taken a sinister turn.
This shit got dark quickly.
Yeah. From Crazy Stupid Love to killing a man with a hammer.
Well, the first thing to know in picking up women is to wear an awesome grey satin jacket with a scorpion on the back and carry a hammer and a bullet just in case shit gets real.
That's how I do it. I mean, I don't know what your preferred technique is.
But yeah, what were you expecting coming into the film then?
I don't know, because when I saw the initial trailer for it, I thought things would explode. If that makes sense. I thought it was going to be that kind of, there's a lot of people driving and there'll be a thing and he'll punch people and it'll sound like, it'll be a really loud, that punching noise you get in films, it's just boom! Just like, yeah, you slapped him, it didn't make that much noise.
So you were expecting essentially the Transporter?
Well, I was at first, yeah, I was basically expecting the Transporter, but without a fake Cockney accent.
We're not implying that Jason Statham isn't a Cockney, or I'm not.
Wow, I just assumed that accent can't be real.
He's definitely English.
Is he? Well, I know he's English, but that accent sounds like someone faking an English accent.
Well, he sounds better than most people who aren't English faking an English accent.
That's true.
I mean, he sounds better than Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, but Dick Van Dyke is a low benchmark in terms of things people don't want to sound like.
Yeah, things people don't want to sound like. Dick Van Dyke, he's right up the list.
Yeah.
Anyway, see, when I came into this film, I didn't... Because you see the trailer for Drive, and you can really think it's either going to go two ways. You see the jacket, there's the sort of silk, silver, pleated jacket with the big fuck off yellow scorpion on the back, and you see the trailers in pink, and you hear the sort of the music, which is awesome, by the way. And you think to yourself, this could go either two ways. It could either be camp as hell, and it's going to be some sort of knockoff 80s thriller type thing, and it won't be that good, but it'll be enjoyable, and it'll be a retro experience. Or, you see the jacket and think, fucking hell, this looks awesome. It's this guy, it's a really well shot film. He's going to be fucking this awesome getaway driver, and there's probably going to be some violence in it, which is always nice in a film.
Oh, yeah.
And the jacket looks quite cool as well. And I wasn't quite sure what to think. I saw the trailer and I thought it looked interesting, but beyond that, I had no idea. I didn't know who Ryan Gosling was. It had Bryan Cranston and Ron Perlman in it, though, which was always a good thought.
I liked him.
In terms of Nicholas Winding Refn, the director, I had only seen Bronson.
I hadn't even seen that. I just came along for the ride.
Which, I mean, I've only seen Bronson, which is obviously a biopic. And although it is its own work, it's based on real events. I mean, this is slightly different because this is based on a book, but it's still his own sort of interpretation of it. But
all the best ones are, you can't, unless you're Zack Snyder, you can't take a really good book and make it exactly into a film. But Zack Snyder's magic, that's why he does that.
Yeah,
I say magic, I'd imagine it's magic.
Yeah, for any purposes of being sued, Zack Snyder is a very competent director.
Yes, no, he's wonderful. No, do right.
And we wish him all the best for the future.
No, don't worry. I enjoyed Watchmen 300, but they were shot-for-shot recreations of the books they were of. Books, comics, let's not be picky about it. Of the things they were of. I mean, fair enough, because they were good films. 300, in its way, in a camp kind of way, was a very enjoyable film. Watchmen was a good film.
Please don't make Watchmen 2.
Yeah, please. Yeah, on the off chance you're more than 5 people watching, one of them is Zack Snyder.
If Zack Snyder is watching this video, please don't make Watchmen 2. I'm asking you very politely. Please don't make it.
Please.
It will be awful, or at least bad. Anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Where were we? Drive.
Yeah, it's a very it's a very dark, very sort of mature film. I mean, you come from. I mean, the starts. I mean, I think the start's got a very sort of Dark Knight feel to it, though.
I see what you mean.
You've got the sort of the music going, and it's like this guy. He's planning. I mean, obviously, in the Dark Knight, it was a bank robbery, but in this, it's like this guy planning a job, and he's sort of thinking. He's outlining his rules, like basically anyone who hires Ryan Gosling, they've got 5 minutes. He'll wait outside for 5 minutes, and if anything happens within that 5 minutes, he'll come and he'll be there. They'll come and get them. But if anything happens before or after, he'll leave. Which you had to explain to me.
Yeah, he didn't get. I don't know why. What you found difficult to understand about the concept of you have 5 minutes.
No, because he says I'll give you I'll wait for a 5 minute window. Anything happens in that 5 minutes, I'm yours. No questions asked. Anything happens a minute either side, and I'm gone. And to me, the first time I watched that, it was sort of like, also if something happens a minute after. He waits for 5 minutes, someone gets in the car, and in the 6 minutes, the police tell him he's going to get out of the car and walk away.
Yeah, that's how it works. If you walk away slowly. Assassin's Creed proved that if you put your hood up and walk away slowly, law enforcement are capable of touching you.
No, it's not just the hood, you've got to...
Yeah, you've got to do the monk thing.
Pretend to be a monk.
It almost works.
Almost, yeah. But yeah, it starts off, it's got this sort of Dark Knight feel to it. Although
you never find out how Ryan Gosling got those scars, which...
His father was a drinker.
Yeah.
And a fiend. But yeah, so he's driving these Pete guys away, and it's not your average car chase.
No,
because it's not just like throwing caution to the wind, driving really fast down a motorway. He stops in the dark and reverses into alleyways. And
it's an actual car chase.
Yeah,
because you can't just drive down a road continuously until you escape.
Well, that'd be stupid.
Don't just give up.
He actually, he plays it smart.
No,
I won't spoil it for. Actually, no. You know what? There are going to be spoilers.
Well, should we just accept that these videos are going to have at least medium grade spoilers, and we'll tell you if there's going to be a big spoiler.
Yeah, but if you haven't,
like that thing that he does with that guy in that place. We're not going to mention that.
Not the place.
Not the place.
Not the guy in the place.
The guy in the place.
Sweet Jesus,
yeah,
no.
I know,
right? But I tell you what, if you haven't seen Drive, as I said, stop watching now. Go see the film, and then we can discuss it like adults with hats. Anyway,
I need a hat. Can I get a hat?
In the next video, you can have a hat.
Awesome.
But I love how it ends. How because throughout this whole chase, he's been listening to a basketball game. I think is it basketball? I think it's basketball.
I don't know. I think it might be American football. He's listening to sports.
He's listening to a sport. He's listening to a game, and he pulls into this underground car park, and you've been listening to the whole thing and think, oh, maybe he's just a sports fan. Although he does turn it up louder than the police radio he's got.
Yeah.
But you hear, and it turns out that he's waiting for the game to end. So, there's crowds everywhere. He gets out the car, puts on this LA baseball cap, takes off his awesome jacket, turns it inside out, puts it over his shoulder, and it's like, he's waiting for the crowd to turn up so he can just slip away. And then, and you feel this thing, and then it hits you with this awesome 80s synth music. And you just know it's going to be a decent film, even if the rest of it's shite.
Yeah,
the opening was pretty fucking good.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, but the strange thing about it is the scenes afterwards. Basically, the plot of the film is this: Ryan Gosling, he plays this guy, this unnamed driver, who he's a mechanic by day, working for Bryan Cranston, who we also like. We do love us some Bryan Cranston.
Big fans.
if he's watching,
yeah. You're good.
Keep up the good work.
Don't make Watchmen 2 either.
Please don't make Watchmen 2, Bryan Cranston. Just stick to what you're good at. Please make Breaking Bad Season 5.
We miss it.
Don't make a Season 6. It'll be rubbish.
Works for Bryan Cranston.
Works for Bryan Cranston as a mechanic. And he's got this neighbour, Carey Mulligan, and he goes over to it, and the conversations they have are bizarre though.
Yeah.
Because it's like she'll say to him, she'll go, oh, you know, like there's this point where she says, what do you do? I drive. You mean like a limo driver? No. I work for movies. Oh, you mean like car chases? Yeah. And it was a lot more it seemed a lot more unnatural the second time.
But see, I think it's probably supposed to, because
yeah, I know.
Doesn't talk to anyone.
The idea is that. But I think the first time I got that he was sort of this stoic loner, but the second time it seems these really awkward pauses between whenever someone asks him a question, whenever he starts speaking.
Yeah.
And you do get the impression because he lives in this sort of very, very minimalistic apartment, and you sort of get the feeling that he doesn't get much contact with people.
Well, no.
But
then actually, given some of the stuff he gets up to in the film, that's probably on purpose.
Oh, some of the stuff he gets up to.
Yeah.
Anyway, also, one thing I will point out to Nicholas Winding Refn, or indeed the author of the book, I haven't read the book, you may be called into the book, but Standard is not a first name.
It's not a name.
No,
It's a description.
I don't care if it can be used as a name. Standard Gabriel is not a name.
Well, it's that guy's name.
Fuck off.
But on the other hand, it's that guy's name. But then look what happens to him. There are consequences to being called Standard. You'll get shot in a car park.
You will get capped.
Ooh, plot twist. Not plot twist. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert, Stanley Gabriel dies. But I think mainly, because again, and by the way, you know, a little plug quickly. I've done this will seem late because it's a week after the film's come out almost, but I did a text review of it for a site called What's On magazine. There'll be a link below and you can check that out, which is my genuine thoughts on the film when it came out. But this is just us talking about it. Is it not?
Can I get back involved now? You finished doing your thing?
You can.
Excellent. Where was I? Yeah, no.
We were talking about how. Oh, I was going to say that. All the supporting actors are very much that. They are the supporting cast. It's very much Ryan Gosling's show.
Well, but it's a film called Driver. It's not called Driver, his neighbour, her husband, Bryan Cranston, and Jewish Ron Perlman.
And Ron motherfucking Perlman.
Yeah, that's a point. Ron Perlman, his performance, he's good because Ron Perlman's a fairly good actor, but his dialogue is a bit.
There's one point where he goes, they're in Bryan Cranston's garage, and he says, and Bryan Cranston has been sold this. Well, he paid for it. Basically, a deal goes down. Money is exchanged. He ends up with a stock car, and Ron Perlman's like, "I paid $300,000 for this shit," and Bryan Cranston, he's like, "Yeah, you paid it. I gotta keep it." And then he sees this car behind him, and he's like, "That is one fine pussy-mobile, motherfucker."
Yeah,
and
it's a bit over the top.
It's not, you know, Ron Perlman doesn't say that sort of thing.
No, well, he might do. We've only ever seen him in films. In real life, he might genuinely talk like that.
To be fair, I only know one.
His most naturalistic performance.
I only know one Ron Perlman line. My one Ron Perlman line is from Afro Samurai, where he goes, where he says, "I killed a single man in an honourable duel."
I think it's more likely he talks like the pussy magnet thing than he does like the guy from Afro Samurai.
No, I like to think that Ron Perlman is in fact Justice. Like, he just wanders around the house, no shirt, fancy hat, cape, guns.
If you have no idea what you're talking about, which is completely understandable, we'll put like a link to a video somewhere so you have a clue of what the
Ron Perlman was the antagonist. Although you say antagonist, he's not the bad guy in it. We'll do a separate video on that.
We'll get to that.
Ron Perlman was the antagonist in Afro Samurai, which is an anime with Samuel L. Jackson, which is also well worth checking out. Not necessarily for fans of Drive, though there isn't much overlap.
No, not particularly. Does he? He doesn't even have a car, I don't think.
No, he walks.
Yeah, he walks. So it's very thematically different.
Although they are both very quiet.
They are both very quiet.
Because I'm pretty sure one of the only things Samuel Jackson plays two characters in it, but I'm pretty sure the only things Afro Samurai says in Afro Samurai is "shut up."
I think that is the only thing he says. But on the other hand, I don't think Ryan Gosling was at any point haunted by the stereotypical manifestation of his own subconscious. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, he might have been. It might have been off screen. Just him, just dressed in like a wife beater, like, "Shit, man, what are you doing? Damn,
driver, don't fight this fucker. He got arrows and grenades and shit. You ain't got a chance, man."
That would have made the film very, very different. Well, again, if you have no idea what we're talking about, we'll put some kind of link to a video somewhere.
It's the internet, though. To be fair, if you're on the internet and don't know what Afro Samurai is,
you're doing the internet wrong.
You're in trouble.
You are doing the internet wrong. Go back to MySpace. Anyway, we keep getting sidetracked.
We do keep getting
Ryan
sidetracked.
Gosling, Ron Perlman, Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston was good.
Everyone loves a bit of Bryan Cranston.
There's not much to say because, like you said, they're all really quite supporting.
Yeah,
roles.
they're very much. It's the supporting cast to Ryan Gosling. It's very much Ryan Gosling's show. And what I will say is, I mean, I can't think of another film I've actually seen Ryan Gosling in. But if you compare him to his other roles, like obviously he was this sort of Lothario type.
Yeah.
In Drive, he is fantastic. He's spot on. You know, he does the sort of quiet, stoic anti-hero thing very well. And there's this, I mean, there are parts, and if you've seen the film, you know, in fact, if you've seen the trailer, you'll know, because the trailer, unfortunately, does show quite a lot of the film.
Well, you say that, but actually, I remember seeing the trailer, but actually, I was still not surprised, because the plot is fairly predictable in the way of these things. But it's a very good, it's a good film, it's a good story, but if you've seen a movie, you will know how this film ends.
Yeah.
It's quite obvious.
I saw part of the ending coming.
Yeah. I saw this.
Also, I'm getting stabbed.
Well, yeah.
I saw that.
No, spoiler alert, he gets stabbed.
He gets stabbed.
He gets stabbed.
But you see, there are parts of it where, for the first few scenes, he's quiet, he's very sort of subdued, and he just, he talks to his neighbour, and he goes out and drives her around, and they start to develop a friendship, and it's all. But then, are you done?
No.
Not even close.
No, never.
But then it gets to this point where he goes to do a job to help someone out, and they end up with a lot of money. They go back to a hotel, and these two guys attack the hotel where he's staying with Christine Hendricks from Mad Men. And basically he this
also
guy.
Good. She's not in it for very long because of what he'll just explain. But Christine Hendricks good too.
Yeah. She gets her head blown into bits. But then this guy comes at Ryan Gosling with a shotgun. Shoves him into the bathroom, punches him a couple of times, stabs him with a curtain rail, grabs a shotgun off him, and shoots this other dude that's coming at him. And you think, fair enough. It's, normal. Your average person wouldn't be able to do that. No. But it's self-defense. He's clearly got to know how to handle himself. He's going to be a getaway driver. Then it comes to this key part in the film, which is also in the trailer, actually. But it comes to this key part in the film where he gets into the lift with his neighbour, and this guy has been sent to find out who this driver is. Yeah. And the driver sees that this guy has a gun in his jacket, and he shoves his head into the wall, and then stamps on his head about, a dozen times.
Yeah, it's quite a few times.
Blood everywhere, blood all over his jacket, blood squirting up, just keeps stamping and stamping. And you get to that point and you just think, who the hell is this guy?
He's not a very nice man.
It starts off being he's a getaway driver, and that's fair enough, but then, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, it's alright to stab this guy that's attacking you with a shotgun, and shoot the guy with a handgun, but this guy...
I've had a nickel for every time I did that.
He didn't need to, stamp his head into mush. And it's very clear that Ryan Gosling's character has this dark past, but the film never explains it.
Which is good, I think. Cause they did it with Ruin It. It's just, this is Ryan Gosling. Turns out he's not a very nice man.
He's clearly embroiled in the underworld in more ways than just being a getaway driver. Yeah. He's clearly killed people before. He knows what he's doing. He's into some serious shit previously, and we're just going to leave it the hell alone. And I think that's very effective. I think I don't want to know any more about him. No. I just think
I don't think you need to, really.
He's a dark guy with a dark past, but he's got. That then leads to the obvious thing that sort of his neighbour is like his redemption.
Yeah,
if you like.
There was that bit. It was quite a sort of symbolic film anyway. But there's that bit when they're in the elevator just before he grabs the guy and does the whole head stompy thing, where he moves. It's him and the guy standing in front, and they're both in the shadow, and his neighbour / girlfriend, love interest type, is behind
Irene.
Them. Irene.
She's called Irene.
Karen Mulligan, Irene. She's standing just behind them, and she's like all lit up because the light in the elevator.
Yeah, and as soon as he moves her behind, away, and then they both go into the dark.
No, they both go into the light. He's standing there. Then he moves into the light with her, and then they kiss, and it's really bright. And then he goes
when he first starts moving, it goes dark, and then it goes light again. But it's like, and then also there's a part when he shoots the guy when he's got the shotgun, he shoots the guy. He moves into the shadow.
Yeah,
like it goes all dark over his face.
Very symbolic.
Yeah, it's that kind of film, but it's not the sort of film where they only rely on that.
Do you notice the thing with the driving gloves as well? which is either really cool or I'm making a big point out of nothing.
Yeah.
After he stamps the guy to death,
Yeah.
and he goes and you see him in the car, he hasn't got his gloves on, and every other time he's in a car.
Not always. He doesn't always.
I swear he's always got his gloves on.
No, when he drives Irene through the storm drains, he hasn't got any on.
Oh, okay. Well,
there are a few times where he hasn't actually got them on. But what do you mean tying into when he meets the Bernie and he says, "My hands are kind of dirty"?
Yeah.
I think there's a deeper, because basically there's a bit where he meets this mob boss and he's been driving in a car and he says, he's going to shake hands with this guy and he says, "My hands are kind of dirty." And the mob boss says, "Mine too," meaning, he's got blood in his hands, kind of dirty.
He's a horrible human being.
So you're saying that basically Ryan Gosling he's got a deeper meaning to that his hands are
it's every time he's doing something criminal he's got in the car. Then if he had it, but he didn't have it with Carey Mulligan when he's with the kid, and then he's doing all the innocent stuff. But when he does all the bad stuff, when he's stealing at the beginning and he's doing the robbery that goes horribly wrong, he's got his gloves on. So I think, it's either a thing, or I think the gloves are a metaphor, like his distance between the bad things he does. There's also that bit where he's sitting in the diner and that guy comes up to him and tries to offer him a job.
Yeah.
And he says to him, "I'm not this."
Yeah, shut your mouth, or I'll kick your teeth down your throat and shut it for you.
Which is actually the first moment where you begin to suspect he's not just a getaway driver.
That's when you realise.
Because he says it in such a deadpan kind of way. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a grimace. He just says, "Get out of my face, or I'm going to kick your teeth down your throat." And it's just like, okay. Not a very nice
Again, it's also very effective coming from Ryan Gosling, because you look at Ryan Gosling, he doesn't look like a hard man.
No.
I mean, no offense to Ryan Gosling.
Don't come find us.
I'm not saying no offense to Ryan Gosling. I'm sure he's a great actor in other films as well. Just in this film, he looks, he doesn't look like, a hard bastard.
But if he did, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's
there's a reason Jason Statham isn't in this film.
He looks like your sort of average, quite handsome guy, and then he's in this and he's fucking stamping people to death and shooting people and anything. Like I said, who the hell is this guy? Like, what has he done before that we don't know about?
Well, presumably stamp on people for his mad stamping game.
Presumably there was a lot of stamping previously.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the ending? Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. He has the money, and the mob boss wants his money back, and he's like, "No!" And he's like, "Fine," because he threatens to kill Irene. So he drives him out into a car park, and he goes to get the money out of his trunk, and mob boss stabs him in the stomach. He stabs the guy. I think he stabs him in the neck.
Yeah, he gets him high, and then there's a sound effect implying that he's like drawn it across him or stabbed him again.
He kills him and leaves him with the money bleeding out in the thing. And he gets in the car, and you think he's dead because he's sitting in the driver's seat of his car, and he's holding his stomach, and he's not moving. He's got his eyes open. He's not blinking. And then finally he blinks, and he starts the ignition and drives the car off. And Carey Mulligan, and it cuts to Carey Mulligan in their apartment building. She walks across to his door, knocks on it, and he's not there. And she goes all sad and walks off. But then you see Ryan Gosling driving kind of away into the night, sort of. Ooh. Which I sort of think, I didn't mind the ending. I think the ending went with the film.
Yeah.
Like it was clear. It was the clear thing of him driving off alone into the darkness because his chance at redemption was gone because he has to leave her because no one knows about her but they know about him, so he has to run away from. So he has to leave and fall further into the dark.
First time I saw it, he drove up and I knew he was going to get stabbed.
Yeah, you knew.
Yeah. You see this mob boss, and he's been. Yeah, he kills someone in the film, but it's like Ron Perlman is the not over the top because he's not like really obtuse about it. But Ron Perlman is the over the top.
Yeah, he's the bad mob boss.
Yeah,
it's good
he's
mob boss, bad mob
yeah.
boss. There's reasonable. And there's motherfucking Pussymobile, and you just know motherfucking Pussymobile. It's kind of a cross between.
That's one hell of a motherfucking Pussymobile, motherfucker.
Yeah, that guy. Essentially, it's kind of a cross between. I'm trying to think. It's basically if Scarface teamed up with. I'm trying to think. Who's a nice mob boss in films?
There are nice mob bosses.
I don't know, but like reasonable.
I don't know, Michael.
Yeah, that guy. Or Gus or something from Breaking Bad. We like Breaking Bad.
Yeah, because but
he's a reasonable person.
We'll go into that further, but we do love Breaking Bad.
But he'll kill. There's crazy and there's business-like. Yeah, crazy will kill you just because you look at him funny. Business-like will kill you if you owe him money.
Giancarlo Esposito in Breaking Bad versus Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. One will kill you for fun. The other will kill you
because you're in the way. But yeah, so and you know Ryan Gosling's going to get stabbed or shot. Or something's going to happen. This guy isn't going to keep true to his word. No, so he stabs Ryan Gosling, and you bet I didn't know whether he was going to live.
No,
I think he stabbed him, and I thought, maybe he'll die. And then when Ryan Gosling stabs the mob boss, I thought, you know, maybe he probably will die.
Yeah.
But he'll take the guy with him.
Yeah. Well, that you could kind of see coming. You knew he wasn't. The thing was, because once you realised the mob boss was willing to betray his word to Ryan Gosling, that meant obviously he wouldn't necessarily save the neighbour. So he was definitely going to kill him.
Yeah.
So Ryan Gosling was obviously going to stab that guy because he couldn't let him live because he'd have gone back and killed Irene. So you knew he was going to take him with him, but whether he died or not, I think it could have gone either way. I think.
I don't feel jaded, like short-changed or jaded by the ending. Though.
No.
I think it's a reasonable ending to a good film.
And of course, if you want to continue the allegoricalness, it could be he did die and he drove his car into the afterlife. It could be a thing.
It could be a thing.
It could be a metaphor.
But I really hope it's not.
It might be.
I really hope it's not.
Okay, well, it's
okay. We want to get some more reviewing points in.
okay. You're a professional.
I am a professional, a consummate professional, as you can tell.
He's got the hat. The hat is mandatory, and the glasses as well.
If you're going to be a film and/or game critic, one has to have both the waistcoat and the fedora.
It's true.
Indeed.
Also, anyone who if that guy with the glasses.com has a legal team, please don't sue us, because
this is just how I look.
It is. It's just.
I can't speak for him, but I'm a big fan of that guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to rip it off in any way. I just want to.
He just has glasses and comments on stuff.
I just want to put my opinions on the internet, basically.
Yeah.
But no, the film looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It's a good film.
You know, it's got this very sort of. You know, a lot of the shots are through Ryan Gosling's windscreen, and you just see this things like the opening credits. For example, it's got the cityscape of LA just stretching out in the night. All the buildings with the lights on, and then it shows you through his windscreen, and just it's cool. It's stylish. It's sort of and it shows you basically this is LA, whether it be at night time or in the day. It looks fucking cool, and we are going to make it look fucking cool. And also, there's a film going on.
Yeah. Also things are happening.
Yeah.
But mainly this stuff is cool.
But yeah, it's an incredibly stylish film. It's an incredibly good looking film. The soundtrack is excellent. Whether it be the original score by Cliff Martinez or the non-original stuff, particularly Night Call, the opening credit sequence, which is awesome. It looks good, it sounds good, the acting in it is phenomenal across the board, everyone's believable. Ryan Gosling, as we've said, very, very good. He pulls off the stoic, quiet thing. The violence as well. The violence, what we're going to say, the violence, it is reasonably over the top.
It is a bit, but I think if anything, that adds to it, I think.
Yeah.
It's not ridiculously over the top, but there's more blood than you'd expect. I mean, granted, I don't know about you, but I've never actually stabbed anyone in the throat or killed anyone with a towel rail, so I don't know if that is actually what happens. But I suspect if you stab someone in the chest, all of the blood in their body doesn't come out in one go. or maybe it does. I don't know. Well, yeah, but there's also some slow motion in this, which I was not expecting.
Only a little bit.
But it's not over the top. The bits it's not all in just frame by frame, him stabbing people. It kind of just there's a bit of slow motion, which if anything kind of it works because slow motion isn't actually a bad thing. It's if you're lazy or you don't have enough film, you just slow everything down.
It can be very much overdone, but yeah, you see, you get the violence in it. It is reasonably over the top, but it's handled in quite an adult way. The violence. It's not like. I mean, I summed this up to you earlier, didn't I? I think in terms of films and people of the internet, feel free to argue.
We know.
There are two kinds of films.
Troll away.
In this sort of context situation, in my opinion. You've got action films and violence films. Action films are stuff like, Commando, various Stallone films. Basically, loads of people die, the opponent's going to get shot or blown up, or there might be the odd more violent death.
No one ever reloads.
Yeah. Lots of people getting killed, zero consequence or little consequence. That's an action film. Then you've got violence films, stuff like this, Old Boy, No Country for Old Men, that sort of stuff. Stuff where not as many people are dying, but when they do die, it's got a lot of weight to it. This film, not many people die, but when they die, it is brutal, it is realistic, well, reasonably realistic. There's a lot of blood, but it's people getting killed.
I think
it's
6 people die in that film. Don't they? 6 people die. Christina Hendricks,
Joan from Mad Men, Walter White.
Oh, he dies as well. Okay, 7. Yeah, Walter White. We just get with two miscellaneous thugs.
Yeah.
Hellboy. And guy I don't recognise from stuff. I don't know who the other mob boss was.
No, the other mob boss.
The other guy, you know. Lift Man.
And Standard Gabriel.
No, Standard. Oh yeah, and okay, 8 people. 8 people. Standard.
All right,
Lift Man.
I stand corrected. Quite a few people die.
8 people die.
But it's people getting killed. It is a guy getting his head caved in a lift. It's not quite as bad as it could be. It's not irreversible or any stuff like that.
But I think your head kicked in is fairly irreversible.
That's a film. The French film with Vincent Cassel.
Oh, see, now I look silly.
No, there's a film called Irreversible, the French film, and there's a scene right at the start where Vincent Cassel and his friend are trying to find this guy, and the guy caves this dude's face in with a fire extinguisher.
Ooh,
and he's got like no face left.
Oh, okay.
It's not that bad.
Okay, well, yeah.
It's
not that bad.
But it takes itself seriously. I think that's good. It's mature. It's adult. It's got a very
It's got dignity.
It's a film you can actually, I'm struggling to say. I don't want to say respect. I mean respect in that it's incredibly well made, but respect makes it sound like it's some sort of superior officer. Basically,
you all know what we mean.
Yeah.
You like it as a film. You wouldn't invite it round for dinner.
I might.
Well, you might, but. It's a good film.
But yes, sum it up then. Drive is
good film.
Yeah.
We don't know why it didn't get an Oscar. When they gave one to that movie about a small boy and 9/11.
Yeah, and The Tree of Life.
Yeah. The Tree of Life.
That's directed by Terrence motherfucking Malick.
Is it that sort of film? I don't think it is.
Basically, if Brad Jones is watching, I don't think The Tree of Life should have got an Oscar either.
There you go.
No, basically, Drive's up for 4 BAFTAs. It's up for Best Film, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress in Carey Mulligan, and Best Cinematography.
I don't know.
But it's up for them. It's up for those 4 BAFTAs. It's up for 1 Oscar. Do you know what Oscar it's up for?
Sound editing.
Sound editing.
Quality.
Yep.
Not to hate on sound editors anywhere,
Not soundtrack.
Respect you guys.
Not soundtrack.
Just saying. It could have had other ones.
Not best. I reckon it should be up for Best Picture.
It's certainly can, considering some of the shit that came out last year.
Yeah, I reckon Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor. I think Ryan Gosling should at least get a nomination.
At least a nomination.
I think he's good enough.
He's better than Gary Oldman in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. That's a different thing.
Yeah, but the thing I do like Gary Oldman was good in that film, but I think Ryan Gosling puts more into it. Because obviously Gary. Yeah, to go in this, I won't go into much detail. But Gary Oldman had Alec Guinness for reference.
That's true.
Whereas
had a book.
Yeah, this had a book. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy already had Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the TV series,
and the radio show. Yeah.
Yeah, so it had basis for him to.
The point is, we can agree it was very good.
Yeah, and we.
You choose the Oscars, you were wrong.
Yeah.
You should listen to us next time because we know where it's at.
I have a hat.
Yeah, see, he has a hat. I don't have a hat.
Fedora, no less.
Yeah. So.
And the bottle of Jim Beam. If Jim Beam are watching,
product placement.
Please send me more. As a writer, I need to keep a constant stream of alcohol in my body. And Jim Beam good. Also, if Jack Daniels are watching, see, it's empty.
Basically, if you make alcohol and you have to give us some for free, then that'd be great.
Yeah.
I suspect they won't, though.
Basically, I like alcohol, and if any alcohol companies are watching, please send me some.
So, to sum up Drive, it's a good film. Should have got more sort of recognition than it did.
Yeah,
and we like alcohol.
We do. Drive.
That's what to take away from this, really.
Looks good, sounds good, good acting, good plot, reasonably scripted. Go and take a look. Right, the next video is going to be Metal Gear Solid HD Collection.
So that's going to be fun.
So yeah, check that out. Check our channel. We got the reviewing floor. Obviously, this main one we're going to have the horror playlist and the classics playlist at least. So check it out. We'll put our Twitter. We're both on Twitter.
I am.
And
We'll put it in the description of the video.
Our names will be in the description. So if you want to follow us, check us out. Also,
hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble on about Drive for half an hour.
35 minutes.
God, we've wasted a lot of people's time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll put the link up to the What's On magazine as well, because during the day I actually do writing and review things in a professional, reasonable sense, where I don't just rant on the internet.
But this is more fun though.
This is quite fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, peace out, bitches.